In the previous lesson, I started a new drawing template, and we saw that when I started the drawing, I had the option to add a model view. You can find the model view icon on the View Layout tab of the Command Manager. You can always click this icon to bring back the Model View Property Manager, and like we saw before, you can browse for an open document and press the forward arrow to see a list of views that you can drag and place on the sheet. Instead of using that method, we hit Escape to cancel. Here, I'd like to show you another easy way to create views that might seem a little more intuitive. Here in the Task pane is something called the View palette. If I click on it to expand the menu, I can use this drop-down to choose from a list of files that I might have open. I'll choose the bracket part, since that's the part we want to create this drawing for, and underneath you can see a preview of all the different views that we currently have available for the model. To create the view, all I have to do is select it from the View palette and drag and drop it onto the drawing sheet. This is the same functionality that is available using the Model View command we saw earlier if we would have clicked to place the view instead of hitting Escape to cancel. Once you place the view, you're automatically placed into the projected view mode, as you can see by the Property Manager on the left-hand side of the SOLIDWORKS interface. If you drag the mouse cursor away from the model, you can see a projection of the model. I'll click here to place the top projection. Notice that I'm still in projected view mode, and I can continue clicking to place additional views, such as the right view orientation. You may also project an isometric view if you would like to do so, as well as project a view in any direction, even if they are placed outside of the drawing sheet. Once you have all the projected views you'd like to create in place, simply press Escape to exit the Projected View menu. One aspect that is really nice and convenient about creating projected views, as opposed to simply dragging and dropping additional views from the View palette, is that the created views are automatically aligned. So if you move the base view, the projected views move with it and maintain the alignment. You can also select the base view by double-clicking its border, and with the view selected, you can change the display style. For instance, you can use Shaded with Edges or Hidden Lines Visible. I'll use the standard Hidden Lines Removed for this template since I don't want to show any hidden lines at the moment. You may have noticed that when I changed the display style for the parent view, the display style had also changed for the projected views since they're linked. However, if I go ahead and double-click on the border of one of the projected views to select it, I can change the display style for just that view. If you want to create a view that's completely unlinked, that's easy to do as well. All you have to do is use either the View palette to drag and drop another view anywhere onto the sheet, or, since we skipped it earlier, let's use the Model View Property Manager. I'll select the bracket, click Next, and I'll drag a standard isometric view onto the sheet by selecting it, and I'll click here to place it. As before, you can click the border to select and drag the view around the sheet to move it, and that's the basic way that views are added to a drawing. There's a couple things I'd like to show you before we move on. You may have noticed when we projected the views that this may or may not look correct to you based on your drawing standards. The first thing I want to show you is right here at the bottom. You can see that we're currently working in the units of inch, pound, and seconds. However, since this part was modeled using millimeters, it's probably a good idea to change the units of the drawing template to millimeters, grams, and second. This way, when we dimension the drawing and detail it later on, our values will be consistent in millimeters instead of inches. The reason this drawing was in inches by default is that when I selected the template to start this new drawing, this particular template uses the inch, pound, second unit system. As I mentioned before, you can set up all sorts of custom templates for various unit values, such as millimeters, metric, inches. In this case, I'll switch the template to use the units of millimeters. There's another thing I'd like to show you. As you can see, the sheet scale right here is 1 to 2. You can also see the sheet scale down here in the title block is also set to 1 to 2. If you want your views to be a different size, you can click to select the view, and here in the Drawing View Property Manager, you can choose to scroll down to the Scale property. Here, you can choose to use the same scale as the sheet, or you can choose a custom scale and choose from the different scales available on the drop-down menu to make the views really small, or perhaps you want to double the size of the views by selecting 2 to 1. Notice that this does not look very accurate, nor do the views fit on the sheet any longer, so I'll switch back to using the default template sheet scale. You can change the display style from the Property Manager as well, if you don't like using the heads-up toolbar. And you may have also noticed that when I change the sheet scale, since I selected the parent view, the projected view sizes also changed, but not the size of the isometric. Now that we've seen how to adjust the scale, I do want to show you how to adjust the projection. This view might look incorrect to you, so if you right-click Sheet from the Feature Manager and select Properties, you can see the Type of Projection option here, along with some of the options that were specified earlier, such as the sheet scale, sheet size, and sheet format. I'll go ahead and change the drawing sheet to a third angle projection, and when I click OK, you can see all the views on the drawing sheet update and now show a third angle projection of the model views.